Most people associate menopause with women and aging with men's physical decline. But what rarely gets talked about is how both of these natural transitions deeply affect emotional connection, sexual desire, and relational intimacy in long-term partnerships. Our culture whispers about the changes, but never fully prepares us for the emotional distance, physical confusion, or even the silent shame that creeps in. In this video, we're uncovering 7 real, unspoken reasons that menopause and male aging change not just the body, but also how we love, touch, and connect with the people we care about most. Reason number 1. Hormones rewrite the love language. Hormones are more than just chemical messengers. They are the invisible emotional translators between partners. During menopause, estrogen levels drop, which affects not only lubrication and comfort during sex, but also mood, energy, and even how a woman feels about her body. For men, testosterone gradually declines, often leading to lowered sex drive, less frequent erections, and an unfamiliar sense of emotional vulnerability. These changes can feel like a betrayal. What used to come naturally, flirting, initiating, connecting, now feels clunky, uncertain, or even awkward. Couples often misinterpret these shifts as a loss of love or attraction, when in fact, it's the hormonal dance changing pace. Understanding this can shift blame away from each other and allow space for empathy and curiosity instead of frustration and silence. Reason number 2. The body's betrayal can trigger emotional distance. When aging bodies change in ways that are hard to control, like vaginal dryness, erectile issues, hot flashes, or joint pain, it's not just physical discomfort that shows up. It's embarrassment. It's shame. And for many, it leads to silence. Older couples often stop touching each other, not because they don't want to, but because they're afraid to. Afraid of rejection, afraid their body will fail them, afraid they're no longer desirable. This silence creates distance, and over time, a couple who once shared everything can begin to feel like polite strangers. But here's the truth. Physical issues are manageable, even treatable. What's harder to fix is the silence that makes both partners feel alone in the same bed. Reason number 3. Emotional changes outpace physical ones. While much of the conversation around aging focuses on the physical, wrinkles, gray hair, slowing metabolism, the deeper impact is emotional. Menopause can bring anxiety, mood swings, and depression in women, while aging men often report feeling less driven, more reflective, or even lost in terms of purpose and self-worth. These emotional shifts are powerful, and if couples don't acknowledge them, they risk misreading each other entirely. A woman may pull away sexually, not because she's lost interest in her partner, but because she's struggling to feel like herself. A man might withdraw not because he doesn't care, but because he's silently grieving the version of himself he used to be. Without open emotional conversation, partners become characters in a story they no longer recognize. Reason number 4. Desire doesn't disappear, it just evolves. There's a dangerous myth that says once you hit a certain age, you stop desiring sex. That's simply not true. Desire doesn't vanish, it matures. For older adults, sex often becomes less about urgency and more about intimacy. Less about physical climax and more about emotional connection. But many couples miss this evolution. They expect sex to look and feel like it did in their 30s or 40s, and when it doesn't, they assume something's broken. In reality, this is a time for rediscovery, for slowing down, for learning new ways to feel close, whether that's through sensual touch, longer foreplay, or even just lying together in quiet affection. Sex in later life isn't worse. It's just different, and it requires different language, different rhythms, and a deeper kind of vulnerability. Reason number 5. Communication becomes the new foreplay. In your younger years, physical attraction might have been enough to fuel desire, but in later years, connection starts in the mind and heart, and that means communication isn't optional, it's essential. Many couples feel awkward talking about their changing needs or fears around sex, but the couples who thrive are the ones who dare to be honest, who say things like, "I'm scared I'm not enough," or "I miss being close, but I don't know how to start again." When communication becomes the bridge, intimacy becomes easier to rebuild. Even small check-ins, tender gestures, and non-sexual touch can reignite a sense of closeness. In old age, words become more powerful than ever, So speak and listen with kindness. Reason number 6, shame silences desire. One of the most damaging unspoken forces in the sexuality of older adults is shame. Shame about appearance, shame about performance, shame about not being the man or woman you once were. Society teaches us that sexuality is for the young and fit, and that's a lie. It robs countless people of pleasure, joy, and connection in the later chapters of life. And when we internalize those messages, we stop showing up for intimacy. We avoid being seen. We shut down emotionally. But here's the truth that nobody told us. Your worth as a sexual being doesn't expire. You don't need a perfect body or youthful stamina to be desirable. You just need presence, honesty, and the courage to believe that your touch still matters. Reason number 7. The greatest intimacy comes after the ego fades. In youth, sex is often driven by ego, by the need to perform, to conquer, to impress. But aging humbles us. It strips away the vanity and invites something deeper intimacy that doesn't need to prove anything. For many couples, the most meaningful, satisfying connections happen not in their 20s or 30s, but in their 60s and 70s, after the pressure is gone. And all that remains is care, trust, and the willingness to be fully present. Men begin to realize that being emotionally available is sexier than dominance. Women often discover their voices after years of silence. And together, couples can craft a new kind of love, one rooted in companionship, comfort, playfulness, and presence. Aging isn't the end of sex and connection, it's the evolution of it. And it can be the most beautiful chapter yet, if we stop hiding and start embracing what's real. So if you're going through this stage of life, whether it's menopause, andropause, or just the slow, undeniable shifts of aging, know this. You are not broken, you are becoming. Let go of what intimacy used to look like, and open the door to what it can become. Talk to your partner, explore slowly, laugh more, touch without expectation, and most importantly, don't let culture decide what your love life should look like. You're allowed to be fully human, messy, aging, changing, and still deeply, beautifully connected. If this video spoke to something inside you, something maybe you haven't had words for until now, then I invite you to share it with someone you love. Maybe it's a spouse, maybe a friend, or maybe someone who just needs to hear that they're not alone in what they're feeling. These are the conversations we don't have enough, but they're the ones that matter most. Let's change that, one honest voice at a time. Thank you for being here, thank you for listening, and thank you for honoring this season of life with the dignity it deserves. If you found value in today's message, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I read them, and I'd love to hear how aging has changed your view of intimacy, love, and connection. Until next time, take care of your body, speak kindly to your partner, and never forget that love doesn't age.